Okay, 6:30, we'll call this meeting to order. Planning and Zoning Commission, March 11th, 2025, meeting number 1890. We are located here at Town Hall and also live via Zoom. That being said, I'll ask Dave to start the pledge of allegiance today.
That's a hard one.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thanks, Dave.
Of course. Thank you for not asking. Yeah, I would never, I'm sure.
Okay, establish a quorum. Wayne, I'm going to ask you sitting as a full voting member tonight. We have four, we have a full quorum. Any added agenda items?
Yes, we have two applications. Yeah. We should move that to the receipt of application.
Yeah, I'll have one. So. Yeah, that's good.
So we have PZ 2025-04 and PZ 2025-05. The applicant owner is Aria Hospitality Group LLC, requesting a zone change, map change from B2 to HIZ. The parcel is located at 151 Prospect Hill Road, and it's in the Route 5 Northern Business Corridor, which is consistent with the allowed use. The applicant also requests a site plan review special use permit for the general development plan for a 20,664 square foot Aldi supermarket, the future restaurant with a drive-through, map 112, block 4, lot 26.
Moving along, legal notice. We had one legal notice, which is PZ 2025-3. Owner applicant Todd Cody / Ben Lima was requesting a special use permit for dog training and boarding located at 160 North Road, map 125, block 24, lots 18, zoned B3. Full copy of application is available on Planning and Zoning Commission's webpage or the town website. Also, interested person may attend this meeting, provide verbal or written comments regarding this application. It's also in the Journal Enquirer, February 28th, 2025 and March 7th, 2025. Okay. Moving on, public participation. Does anybody have anything they would like to speak about that is not on tonight's agenda? Anybody online? Okay, it doesn't know. So moving on, approval of minutes. Anybody have edits, corrections?
We would like to call attention to line 225, where the word lead design is. Lead is an acronym, so it's capital L, capital E, capital E, capital D. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design.
They
I
wrote
think
down,
that should be corrected.
they wrote down lead.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? No other corrections or edits? I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the meeting held Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. That was meeting 1889 and with the correction in line 225.
All right, motion made by Ann. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Receipt of applications? None?
For receipt of applications, we added that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Performance bonds, actions, permit extensions, road acceptance, none. Okay, moving on. Continue public hearings. PZ 2025-02, applicant owner NRT Realty LLC, Robert Trigg, Adam Vaughn is requesting for a zone change, map change for the following properties: 113, 125, 127, 131, 133 Bridge Street, map 111, block 12, lots 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, currently zoned B2 with Royals Point Core to PCD. So how it's gonna work, I'm gonna have the applicant speak first, like we did last time. And then the commission will have follow-up questions. And this is still open to the public. Then we'll have you guys have questions for the applicant.
Good evening. Jay Ernst, Ranger. There were questions. Upward and different neighborhoods. Those are things that will all be addressed. Site design when it comes to grading, landscaping and so forth, to make sure that we give as much buffer as we can for the neighborhood. The traffic study actually was running. We had a meeting last week with Scott Heskett in his office, he's working on it. I think I mentioned to you at the last meeting that this particular development that we're talking about, the multi-family, and the back side up front, it's retail and small restaurant use, is a less intense use than what was approved back in 07 and 08 when we were looking at the box store in the retail. That also had a small pet site up front, and that required a traffic light. At this point in time, based on this development, it's multi-family, pet site out front, it's not, the warrants aren't there for a traffic light. There won't be a signal. However, the improvements within the roadway will be similar with how the traffic's in. There's going to be turning lanes, there's going to be widening, and so on and so forth. And we'll get into all those details should this move forward as we go through the traffic study itself. And Scott Heskett would be here to go through that with you. We heard some comments from the commission in terms of youth chargers. Those would be there. More study with the WPCA. There's been some conversation already with some folks at WPCA about that. The discussion with Postmaster about where the mailboxes will be located, which we'd like to think we could put it up near the community center, which would be right up in the middle of the site, assuming the Postmaster agrees with that location. But either in that building, the next thing building, you can see. So that's another thing we need to look at. The lead certified in terms of building materials and so forth is something that came up and something I think we can look at and get into final architectural design. Blue ditch, we will be talking about that. School children, bus stops. Those are all things that will be discussed if we go further. There was a number of comments again from the public, but a lot of them related to traffic. And as I said, we will have a full traffic study, actually the draft that's already done. And Scott's going to be finishing that up within the next few weeks, and we'll be able to submit that should this proposal move forward. I do have some architectural elevations. This is the revised footprint, and the layout is exactly the same. I think the numbers all agree now in terms of what we have for units, but they did. And I think I mentioned this at the last meeting. the rendering, for whatever reason, the coloring didn't really seem to come out that well. Kristen was able to do some work with that. And it did make a little difference in terms of the plot. Let me just flip this one on first. To give you a little better feel for the color on the elevations. This is the multifamily building. And-
Excuse me, I need to interject. Since the start of the meeting, we really haven't been able to hear him well through the microphone. I'm wondering, when he speaks, if he can either be closer to the microphone or the microphone be turned up.
There's no more.
It's been quite garbled.
Sorry about that. I thought you were gonna jump in and start a
Thank
conversation.
you. Appreciate it.
I'll do my best. I'll try to speak a little louder. I think I was about the same as the last meeting. But if you can't, just go ahead, interrupt again, and see if we can get it fixed for you. So again, looking at the architectural design here, in terms of the coloration, this is a little better rendition of what this would look like. And there's a hardy board siding we talked about here, which is shown more in white. The gray is actually a shingle type siding, which would be used in conjunction with the hardy board. Architectural shingles on the roof, and then we've got something different here along the front on either side of the door. And I'm not sure what that is. I would have to have Chris look at that question. Cupola on top. Again, we talked about everybody's got a deck or a patio. Main entrances here, elevators in the center of the building. There's also entrances located either side over here and over here. So that's a little bit better rendition of what the color looks like on the actual multi-family building. We also have here the community building, which again gives you a little better feel for the colors. Similar type architectural shingle, hardy board here on top, and the cedar shakes, vinyl siding shakes, I guess I call them, but cedar shaken imitation that's located down here on the lower levels. And again, this gives you a little bit of color. Also, we have the building that's up front, the pad site building. And this would be the west elevation that you see here. Again, similar type building materials with hardy plank. Here we've got some split face block. And we've got a brick skirt down here, down low at the sidewalk level. This would be facing Bridge Street. This would be the drive-through window that's here. Again, good face here, hardy plank here, architectural shingles and the cupola here, and the brick skirt along the bottom. So it gives you a little bit better feel for what it's going to look like. And that's really the only change per se, a little bit different in color. And again, I think now we at least have an agreement in terms of what you have with the packets that Ruth handed out to you. Agrees with what we've got here on the board, with units and parking and so forth. So that said, I'm not, like I said, not going to go into a whole lot of detail. If anybody has any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer for you if I can.
Okay, we'll start with the commission first. Ian, new questions? Anything new?
I don't have any new questions. I agree with the applicant that there are outstanding issues that would be evaluated and considered in the next phase.
Okay. Dave?
The only two things I had written down that, Jay, you didn't mention, you've done a great job, was the potential second ingress and egress at rush hour. If the traffic study warrants that, you'll have that. As well as we had thought about a freight elevator for moving people in and out. You're gonna have one elevator per building. Just curious what their thoughts are.
Yeah, I think it probably could end up being an oversized elevator that would be used for, the residents. Folks moving in and out, as I think I mentioned, even when my wife and I moved my son to the also there was a little bit of a struggle with the couch, trying to
Yep.
figure out how we were gonna get it down the elevator. We succeeded, but it's something that a lot of times you might not think about, but it is.
Right.
an issue.
Right.
Going up a stairwell for flights probably isn't what you want to do.
No, definitely not. Those were and then the traffic study. Those were the only things I had down, certainly.
Wayne, any questions?
Traffic study, same thing.
Yeah.
I think you answered pretty much everything.
Well, like Jay said, that'll be coming in a different phase. Traffic and the buffering for the neighbors and the drainage for the blue ditch, that needs to all be worked on as well. And that's a later time. So this is a public hearing. Was there a list over there? Gonna open it back up to the public. We've never closed it from the public. So someone this row first. Tom Buckley. Speak. State your name and address for the record, please.
Buckley, Kings Court. Way in and one way out.
So far, yes, what they're proposing.
How many units?
Jay? 330, 328?
330 on this plan, and just, I guess I can kind of answer the question for you. The main entry. I think this is probably a concern. The main entry is here. There are turning lanes. It's also an emergency out the back. So there is other access to the property other than the main entry. So there'd be a driveway that goes out the back of Spring Street that would be gated and would be used by the fire department or the police department or the emergency service.
Emergency only.
Correct, yep.
Okay,
The entrances are pretty wide. They could, good access for all that equipment. They can get in and swing around.
Yeah, we did run turning templates on it for deliveries, and yeah, it's accessible by tractor trailer. Yeah.
Can I mention runoff?
so all the drainage will be taken
That's
care
got
of.
to be worked.
Yes, we're very aware of the drainage and the traffic. Those are huge issues, the blue ditch.
Yes.
We're very aware of all that, and this is just a zone change application, so it's just that those items won't be looked at in depth, but the town engineer has to take a look at it. Fire department has to look at it, police department has to look at it. That's at a later date.
So that ditch on the ground is at this point.
It is, so that's gonna be looked at very hard. And the last applicant that came in here, the big box store, they were gonna redo that whole ditch. So people's property didn't get flooded. That was the big issue,
Problems in the past,
you
yeah.
know,
Every
yeah.
once in a while it comes up to be discussed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So hopefully we can get those issues resolved. Okay, next, Ken. Cooley, you do me a favor, can you go up to the mic over there and speak so people online, the podium, please, people online can hear you.
I have to interject again. We cannot hear him one bit.
He speaks a little bit softly, but we haven't.
Not even one word.
So.
Uh,
It's getting,
Well, I have concerns that are, these.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else have anything new besides the traffic and the blue ditch? It's gonna be, Joan Nordell. Anything new besides the blue ditch and traffic and all that stuff? Okay.
Can I ask those?
Sure.
Want to go to the microphone, please?
I might make a suggestion. Instead of standing there where it doesn't seem to be working, stand over at the end of the table where that might.
Yes, there's a mic to circle just right there is a microphone. Thank you, Alan.
My questions to the board here are. What, how do you do this? You're gonna give them the zone change first and then wait for all these other things to come in?
So how it works is the zone change, if the zone change gets approved, then they come in for a site plan approval, which then, for a special use permit, which then all those details get worked out. They could get that far and it doesn't get approved. They could,
But meanwhile, you make the site, the zoning,
we're just doing a zone change for now.
because that scares me that they haven't answered any of our questions from last time we were here. And, I'm worried that you're gonna give them this approval and then,
So this is, again, this is just a zone change application.
yeah, I know.
And then when we come back in again, they have to do all that stuff with the impervious coverage, the water.
You have the zoning, have the big, empty, heartfelt, there, View Park. That's empty. That's not bringing any tax revenue to town. We have where the casino was supposed to come. That's not bringing any tax revenue to town. And old Walmart and all that's been paved and you got parking lots, everything. And now you want to let them put in a whole new thing and it's like very upsetting.
Okay, thank you. Stan?
Dan Plesky, Broadbrook. I figure I might as well handle the board a clarification. So if I go to minutes of September 10th, Tuesday, September 10th, and this is when the proposed text amendment changed. During that, Chairman Kowalski closed the public participation. And then where my comments came about was Mr. Thurs asked Ms. Calabrese regarding the motivation or action change specific to this section. And Mr. Thurs had asked the question, why? The idea was based on numerous prior conversations and applications. I do not remember the conversations and applications. I remember people and developers. We also go on and just get a clarification. Mr. Thurs also questioned later on the benefit of the proposed text amendment. So that's where my comments came from. So I felt I would owe the board that. Again, it's been roughly 6 months since that change. I think the developer picked the correct person, Mr. Jay here, because he's had prior experience in that property, existing properties around there. But it's been about 6 months. It seems like the ink is just about dry, so.
Okay, thank you, Stan.
Yep.
Is there anybody else in the audience who wants to offer something new that we haven't already discussed? Anybody online wish to speak on this application?
Yes, I'm going to speak.
State your name for the record, please, and address.
Hi, Lori Proudy, currently residing at 50 Spring Street in the Warehouse Point section of town. Once again, speaking out in opposition to further zoning changes, which might allow a large-scale project to consume more natural space encompassing and bordering the residential areas of Bridge Street, Maple Street, and Spring Street. In a previous correspondence, I stressed the effects and negative outcomes of this possible zoning change and what it could bring to our town. It would 100% prove taxing on our existing town resources and infrastructures. And it's highly going to diminish our natural habitat and green space for our local wildlife such as fox, deer, bobcat, and even eagles. I do feel that the increased traffic congestion would be the most serious, dangerous, and problematic concern for any driver or pedestrian accessing that area. I don't know where each of you live or work, but I am asking that the voting commission to put themselves into the shoes of the people who currently live and work right here, the area in question. Envision yourself being one of the drivers who currently travel through this section of town. Personally, on a daily basis, someone in my direct household travels on Bridge Street 6 times a day, and we only have 2 people in our house. I can tell you it's rarely a stress-free experience. No traffic study will come close to calculating the traffic pattern or problems that are going to be occurring when a funeral is happening at Basinger's, a fire or a rescue alarm occurs, church is in session, a special event is happening at one of Geisler Plaza's storefronts, a parade shuts down the main road, a detour is in place from the construction, an accident occurs on the highway. If you watch the news, read the papers, or keep an eye on social media, you're already aware that the latter is happening in higher frequencies in town and with much deadlier consequences. Just a normal customer base at Main Fish Market Tuesday through Sundays is already enough to bring traffic to a halt during lunch and dinner hours. So if you guys live in Melrose or Broadbrook or Scantic or Windsorville sections, you may not see or experience this on your once a week drive-throughs. But from experience, I can tell you we already have traffic issues. I can't imagine that they will improve by adding another 1 or 2 vehicles from 330 apartments, additional school buses, delivery vehicles, garbage trucks, recycle trucks, landscape and maintenance vehicles, apartment visitors, utility workers, medical responders, customers patronizing any new commercial businesses put in place. They'll all be attempting to enter and exit onto Bridge Street. Our existing main roads and intersections cannot handle that increased traffic, and our nearby side roads cannot handle the distribution of the traffic as increased accidents occur because of these new congestion points. The new train station over the bridge in Windsor Locks isn't even complete. Neither are the units being constructed just past Sophia's. How can a traffic study now determine the amount of new commuter traffic coming from the highways and across the bridge in the future? It can't. So how can anyone approve or even vote on such a major decision now? You guys really shouldn't be. There are just too many safety and welfare concerns to pass a vote on rezoning the property in question. And the project will have a negative impact on Warehouse Point and its residents. This project will not be something that can be suddenly undone in the future. So please put a halt to it once and for all now.
Thank you. Also, for the record, we received your letter, which I think you pretty much read.
Yes, and I'm going to add something else.
Anything new?
Yes.
Okay.
Regarding that emergency exit at the end of Spring Street, which is where I live, that's a dead end street. That is a 1-lane road. We barely have space for our own vehicles. And sometimes we do have to park on the street, making even less space. There is no way that we would be able to deal or have room safely to allow emergency vehicles, and don't just say it's going to be emergency, because you know those maintenance vehicles are going to be coming through, as well as residents who don't want to wait in line to exit Bridge Street. That is going to be more unsafe than, or as unsafe as the entry and exits off a bridge if you allow emergency vehicles for almost 350 apartments. Ambulances, fire department, any other emergency or maintenance vehicle is going to be using that exit way. And no rope or gate is going to prevent others from using it as well. that is a very unsafe plan for the existing residents on a dead-end street. There's no places to turn around. I know he addressed that in the past. I can't see any plan they make for that dead-end road that has 3 houses at the very end. That road doesn't have any other, well, one other house that just sold. It's those new residents are going to be dealing with this. But the 3 houses on that road are at the very end, right where they want to make this emergency exit. It will not work. You're putting our lives and our safety and welfare in jeopardy by even allowing them to consider an exit there.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Is there anybody else online who'd like to speak out in this application? Staff, anything? Everybody else good?
Do you know the capacity at Mill Pond to use a security?
Maybe 200,000-300,000 people there? That's a whole different other animal anyways, other side of town. As far as traffic goes. Is that your concern, like traffic for that?
Just curious.
Kind of doesn't compare to.
Because those are all restricted, correct? They're all so there are some that are just marketed.
Okay,
We can get that number.
that's, with, they do. With that being said, I'm gonna close it up to the public. Does anybody want to make a motion? So there's gonna be a vote, but not to vote on the application, just to close the public hearing. Jay, you're good? You want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on application PZ 2025-2. The applicant owner is NRT Realty LLC, Robert Trigg, Adam Vaughn, requesting a zone change.
Motion made by Ann. Is there a second? Second by Wayne. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. Everybody feel comfortable enough to make a vote?
I do, but I would like to say for the record, that I think the traffic study will be a real challenge. And, that doesn't have bearing on this right now in my mind, but I think the applicant should have heard loud and clear from the public that everybody is concerned about the traffic.
Yeah. We're very aware of everybody's situation and we're not sleeping at the wheel here. We know that all this is gonna come up again. So it's a big one for that. That being said, I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve PZ 2025-2. The applicant is NRT Realty LLC, Robert Trigg. And the owners of the estate of Joseph Latta Jr., Deborah A. Morell, and Adam Vaughn for a zone change for the following addresses: 113, 125, 127, 131, 133 Bridge Street from a B2 and Warehouse Point Core to planned commercial development per section 817 of the East Windsor zoning regulations, map 111, block 12, lots 4, 8, 9, 10, and 11. This approval shall incorporate the following plans. 1, zone change map B2 and Warehouse Point Core Zone to PCD zone prepared for NRT Realty LLC, 127 Bridge Street, East Windsor, Connecticut, prepared by J.R. Russo and Associates. Sheet 1 of 1 dated 1/22/25. And 2, the proposed residential development, Bridge Street, Route 140, East Windsor, Connecticut, prepared by BL Company's sketch plan SK5 dated 1/23/25. And the following 3 findings. 1, the zone change is in conformance with Chapter 3, guiding development of the East Windsor Plan of Conservation and Development. 2, the parcel is eligible for the zone change to planned commercial development per section 817.3C of the East Windsor zoning regulations. And 3, the site will come back before the commission and will require adherence to the regulations and special permit conditions.
So a motion is made by Ann. Is there a second? Second by Wayne. Any discussion?
Again, there's still open issues that need to be addressed should this move further in any way, shape, or form.
I agree. And finding number 3, the regulations and special permit conditions. They're coming back before us again, so. Okay, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Next on the, you want to break? Yes or no? No. Next on the agenda, new public hearing. PZ 2025-3, owner applicant Todd Cody / Ben Alamo requesting a special use permit for a dog training and boarding located at 160 North Road, map 125, block 24, lot 18, zone B3. Anybody here to represent? You want to go to the podium, please, sir? Okay, well, I guess, yeah, sorry to say podium. So, do we have anything on this?
Application?
You want to just, oh, that's all I got too. So do you want to tell us what you got going on?
But I do board and train as well. But they have an issue getting them. If they come stay with me for a period.
So I guess I'll start it off with questions, I guess. Ann, you want to start with questions?
I'm curious if the site has public water and sewer or it's on septic and a well.
It's septic and all.
And the dog waste, will it be contained so it doesn't get into the well?
Yes.
Do you know where the well is on the property and where the dogs will use for?
Offhand, I don't know exactly where the well is. The fenced-in area that's behind the property, that's where the dogs will leave. And then, of course, any solid refuse is picked up.
Are any of the buildings in the picture that we have residences, or are they all commercial industrial buildings?
So the 2 buildings on the section where I am are commercial. There's another commercial building to the right, and then in front of that, there's I think a 3-family dwelling.
Yeah.
I guess then my question becomes, will there be a lot of barking and noise that will impact that multifamily dwelling?
No.
The dogs are inside during the
They're
night?
inside, they go out to, play, go to the bathroom, but it wouldn't be any different than a neighbor that had 1 or 2 dogs. Actually, it would probably be required.
Oh, so it's not like a large training
No, it's
operation?
not like indoor, outdoor kennels where they're stressing and they go outside and just bark, bark, bark because nobody's around.
It's not like Camp Bow Wow or whatever. Okay,
No daycare either.
okay. That's the part that wasn't clear to me. I thought it was a dog care kind of place,
And board and train and, you know, like,
but it's,
But you're boarding.
Yeah.
Boarding lasts 1 to 3 weeks. So are they boarding overnight?
yes,
Yeah,
are
so
they
that's the kennel.
inside when they're boarded? Or are
yes,
they outside?
inside, strictly inside. There's no outside area.
Working manned or secured or someone will be there 24 hours a day
When there's animals.
when there's animals there. And dogs won't be let out after a certain time at night so that, you know, not 9 or 10 o'clock at night, somebody's letting dogs out to run around in the yard that's gonna
Right.
wake up the
Unless
residential
somebody-
neighbors.
Unless somebody gets up with diarrhea or something, but yeah. It does happen.
And
would
it
just
does,
be- yeah.
but,
Yeah,
but.
but
it
it's
would
not,
be
you
like-
leave them out all night barking.
Scenario.
Yeah.
Wayne, you have any more questions? So inside, are there kennels inside already or, cause I drove in there today, it's just kind of like an old 2-car garage.
Yeah, so there's a garage on one side and then like an office building connected to it on the left. Not kennels per se, but crates.
So the dogs can be crated all night?
But they would get out, they're not gonna be in there all the time. They get out during the day to have free time to, you know, do work and then, you know, playtime and exercise in the yard.
So that backyard that's fenced, that's right behind the garage, that's where you're gonna take the dogs out or are you going further in the back?
You have the diagram?
I do, right here. There's a little fenced in yard behind it. I drove in there today and looked. And but there's also a open area way in the back too.
It's just the fencing.
Okay. We really didn't get much on this applicant. The town interject a little bit.
Sure, I'm trying to. There's some pictures. I have some I can get.
Website, I can.
Oh.
I'll look.
Okay.
What do you do? Want me to go through the staff comments while you do that?
Yeah.
Well. So,
Yeah, hold on, one at a time.
Mike's gonna they're different pictures.
Hold on, one at a time, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's stop.
Well, you want to start?
Yeah,
Other photos of the site.
yeah, I get down.
So I was just passing down to the commissioner, pictures of the site, so you can, if you haven't seen it.
So this is the front.
Memory. How the access to North Road, the fenced in area in the back. That unit 160. The use is an allowed use in the zone.
So
Been out for interdepartmental reviews. Town engineer had no comments. Building official, if any renovations going on, you'll need to get a building. And likely a change of occupancy so that the building official and the fire marshal can get in and just make sure everything's up there. The Water Pollution Control Authority sent out a standard reply that nothing to look at right now, but if you're gonna connect, they'll get involved. Police Department Animal Control Officer relayed that the business being proposed might require state license for commercial kennel and training facility, and we sent along that information to you.
So
And-
should we make that a condition of approval or that's?
That would come after, I believe.
The state has recently changed their definitions and standards for commercial kennels, so if their requirements say that he needs one from them, I would let that be between him and the state. Because
Okay.
if something were to change,
We don't know the threshold.
we don't want to,
So if we grant this part of it, he still has to go through the state hoops to jump through.
Yeah, and the state wouldn't give it to him unless we said, you know.
Okay, I got you.
allowed. So, and I did speak with the fire marshal. He had no comments really.
And
Concerned about
the
the,
health department didn't comment, or
yeah, I didn't hear back from the health department.
so they're not concerned, or
They didn't look at it.
They didn't reply.
I'll add, I did a quick measure on the GIS. The closest residential structure, obviously, other than the one owned by the property owner that's involved, is well over 2,500 feet away.
Okay, that's the one.
yeah, I was,
It would be over on Rollicut.
It's a-
no, but I was worried about
It's that
the
three-
buildings on the same site if they were
Does he
residential.
own those too?
It's one
Same
piece
with
of property. The property owner signed the application.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
okay. That's the only neighbors there besides the bus company.
okay.
All right. That explains a lot. Yeah. You guys all set with your questions? Does anybody from the public want to speak in this application? Audience, anybody? Anybody online like to speak to this application? Perfect. You guys all good? More questions? Okay, I guess I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on application PZ 2025-3, a special use permit at 160 North Road for a dog training board and train.
Motion made by Ann. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Dave. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. You guys ready to vote? Do you have a motion?
Yeah.
You do have a motion.
I'll make
Go ahead, Ann.
a motion to approve application PZ 2025-3 for a special use permit issued to Todd, Cody, and Ben Alimo, the applicant owner, to allow dog training and board and train activities at the parcel noted as assessors MBL 125-24-18, Zone B3, known as 160 North Road, finding that the proposed use satisfies the considerations of section 701 of the East Windsor zoning regulations, and adding a general condition, number 1, prior to the issuance of any permits, the owner applicant shall file a copy of the certificate of approval on the land records.
Okay, motion made by Ann. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Dave. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Moving on. Old business? None. New business? None. Other business? None. Correspondence? None. Business meeting? None. Executive session? None. Take a vote. We'll call for adjournment. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Dave, second. Second by Wayne. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting ends at 7:19. Thank you.